Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Before we begin today, a huge thank you to Magnus Did Nothing Wrong for the virtual gift voucher. I see what you did there. Huge thank you anyway, my friend, for the support. It is truly appreciated. Thank you. But on to today. Today we review the Warhammer 40k novel, The Emperor's Gift by Aaron Dembski-Bowden. As usual for reviews, we'll begin with a spoiler-free review, followed by some spoiler talk and reaction. There's a link to the novel on the Black Library website in the description as usual. So let's begin as always by reading the synopsis off the back of the novel. The Grey Knights are all that stands between mankind and the Ravagers of Chaos. Since their secretive beginnings during the Horus Heresy, these legendary Space Marine demon hunters have journeyed into the dark realms of the Warp and beyond, in pursuit of their supernatural enemies. Through an intensive regime of psychic training, new recruits are brought to the clandestine fortress of Titan to join the hallowed and vaunted ranks of the 666th chapter. More than ever, these legendary battle brothers must be vigilant and ever ready, for the forces of chaos are never truly defeated, and Armageddon beckons. Now, the synopsis doesn't fill you in on too many details, but it covers the two essentials. It's a Grey Knight story, and it builds to Armageddon. In particular, the story is seen from the eyes of a Grey Knight named Hyperion, who some may recognise from Ravenor. And yes, you do get a subtle wink and a nod to his past. However, it in no way affects your enjoyment of this story if you've read Ravenor or not. Straight away, the portrayal of Hyperion and the Grey Knights is absolutely fascinating. You see the traits of the Adeptus Astartes we all expect, yet it's completely overlaid by their psychic mastery. The innate talents and expertise that sets the Grey Knights apart. It's a fine balance to walk, keeping these warrior elite as the genetic wrecking balls they are, yet highlighting their preference for psychic power, without portraying them as Gandalf in power armor. And boy, the author ADB delivers. These sons of Titan feel every inch the silver bullet in the Emperor's arsenal. When they face the demons, you know why it is to them the Imperium turns. We are shown why and how the Sons of Titan fight the way they do, and why it is so effective. Really delving into the unique relationships and makeup of their squads and brotherhood. And I think the absolute masterstroke by ADB here was portraying it through a younger member of the Order. So often we follow a veteran sergeant or an indomitable captain, but having a more fresh novice viewpoint, and dare I say hot-headed viewpoint, allowed the reader to see before them the evolution a Grey Knight must make as he grows within the chapter. Again, the unique relationships that are forged between these psychic warriors makes it a very different experience to your normal chapter, making it somehow a very familiar read, yet also a very unique experience at the same time. The story itself begins as more a mystery tale, as the Grey Knights accompany an Inquisitor by the name of Annika, who herself comes across far better than your usual Inquisitor, though in truth that's most likely because she comes across as far more human than most Inquisitors normally do. If there was one knock to give this read, it would be for Annika's compatriots. I guess it is kind of mandatory these days for every Inquisitor to have a motley cast of characters to pose as their personal posse, and here Annika is no different. To me, however, their inclusions largely felt kind of pointless. They aren't memorable or interesting, and their appearances only really seem to serve the point of reminding us Space Marines struggle to understand humans. Honestly, if I was to give you any of their names right now, I simply can't remember them. However, this is extremely minor, and they are extremely minor characters. It won't affect your overall enjoyment of the story. It's just in hindsight I found they aren't really needed. Now, as the synopsis suggests, the story is all about building towards Armageddon, and this is where the novel goes from good to absolutely amazing. The events of Armageddon are well known now, but for the sake of spoilers I won't mention anything in detail. Safe to say the confrontation absolutely has more than one goosebump tingling moment, and the main one will just blow you away. You will be on the edge of your seat. Despite knowing how it has to turn out, the author ADB will draw you into that moment in a way that is truly rare for a novel. And lastly, I really don't think this is spoilerish, as again the events are well known now, but I would be amiss if I didn't mention the appearance of the Space Wolves. My lord, not since the burning of Prospero have the wolves felt so savage. Man, these guys come across like absolute bosses. So overall, I think you may have guessed by now, this read is nothing short of 5 out of 5. It is truly blessed by the Emperor. ADB gives us an absolutely amazing read. Mystery, action, trepidation and emotion. You will feel all of it as you follow Hyperion and the Grey Knights on their journey, all the while diving into the secrets of this infamous chapter. Will you feel the same about them when you emerge the other side of this story? No, you won't. But man, you will be glad you read it. You absolutely need this book in your collection if you do not have it. 5 out of 5. Okay, that's it for the spoiler-free review. Now on to a little spoiler talk and reaction for those of you who have already read it. Man, what a read. I've never really been overly interested in the Grey Knights. I always felt they lost a bit of their mystique when they became a fully fledged army. But man, does this story change that. Seeing the relationship between a Grey Knight squad gave it so much more an emotional connection. How they feel each other's presence at all times. How their minds are linked. It's not only fascinating, but it allows you to bond with them in a far greater way. And the perfect highlight of this is the moment Hyperion is about to learn his former name, and he suddenly feels nervous, only to have his brothers immediately ask him what's going on, sensing his emotions from across the ship. I just found it's those little moments that truly endeared you to Hyperion's squad in a way normal Astartes chapters struggle to match. Honestly, this glimpse behind the silver curtain, so to speak, this showing of their unique bond of brotherhood, has truly made a place in my heart for the Grey Knights going forward. I definitely look at them in a whole new light. And it's no doubt this insight to that brotherhood that made that climactic battle against Angron So unbelievable. We know how it's going to turn out. We know the Grey Knights are going to win. It's been told in the lore for years. We know it's going to cost them virtually everything to do it. But after bonding with these guys, in what truly up to that point was only half a novel, I just couldn't stop myself from wishing for them to survive. When Hyperion awoke after shattering the blade, and there's that line of him feeling hollow, you just know how much he means it. Having seen that connection, it's a really heartbreaking moment. But for all that said, honestly, the appearance of the Space Wolves in the second half of the story just absolutely stole the show. I mean, has Logan Grimnar ever come across so badass? This is the Great Wolf I would follow into battle. He just absolutely oozes, do not mess with this guy. I mean, he just one hit killed the Grey Knight captain. Oh, it was just awesome. I literally jumped out of my seat in that moment. It wasn't just this, however. His portrayal in his mannerisms, his way with words, his aura of authority, his contained savageness. It was everything the Space Wolves aspire to be. Every time Grimnar's name was on the page, he absolutely stole the show. If this is how ADB can write the Wolves, I really need to see him take on a full Space Wolf novel. However, in speaking of stealing the show, do I really even have to say it? I don't know if it's because I'm already a Space Wolf fan, or it was just the sheer fantastic writing by ADB, but when Annika dropped to her knees in tears, uttering the line, "He's real," and even Hyperion has that holy you-know-what moment when he realizes just who it is. I expected who it would be. I knew who it would be. Yet I'll be damned if I didn't almost find myself welling up too. I must be getting emotional in my old age, but that was a moment. That's why 40k lore just cannot be matched. A simple war machine walking into view, and it gives you that kind of goosebump reaction. Man. Then of course we got to see Bjorn's reaction himself. Just typical Bjorn. Such an iconic character. And how he has Grimnar stand down. Having seen how strong Grimnar is portrayed, to then have him bend the knee was just, I don't have any other way to say it, but absolutely awesome. The deference given to this legendary character, man, I will never forget that. For me, it would be interesting to see if this came across as well to non-Space Wolves fans as it did to me. I really think it would, because again, they absolutely stole the show. However, I think that was intended. After showing us the Grey Knights at their absolute best, to show us them at perhaps their worst, the darker side of the Inquisition was absolutely intended. It is the grim dark universe after all. However, with that said, Hyperion and his brothers remain strong and identifiable characters, and their tolling of the Bell of Lost Souls at the end was about an apt ending as you could wish for. Again, it was just an absolutely great read from beginning to end. ADB really over-delivered on this. If you haven't read it in a while, guys, go back and give it a read. It really does deserve it. But that's it for today, guys. As always, what do you think? Did you enjoy The Emperor's Gift as much as me? Or perhaps would you give it a lesser score? As always, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love to read them. Huge thank you to all my subscribers. Your support truly means a lot to me. It really does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too? But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.